presentation of ESPN on ABC.
Welcome to ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, and today's Big 12 matchup between Oklahoma and Texas. You are looking live at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, where one of the special rites of the college season is about to begin. The Oklahoma Sooners pouring onto the floor of the Cotton Bowl. Their fans wearing crimson. The other half of the Cotton Bowl wearing burnt orange today. It is the 108th Red River rivalry with the Texas State Fair as its background. Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. Thanks for dropping by. I'm Brent Musburger, wanting some good Texas barbecue, so I brought my buddy Todd Blackledge along today. Todd, on the way to that barbecue, we stopped at the Oklahoma practice in Norman. What impressed you up there?
They were so loose and confident, particularly Bob Stoops. And then the other thing, defensively, I think they're playing better than I've seen them in the last few years. They've changed their scheme. They've put more speed onto the field. It fits their personnel, and it fits the league they play in.
Now, Todd, Texas has really struggled the last few years against Oklahoma. What's the key for the Longhorns today?
I hope they got the same wake-up call that Oklahoma did, because the last 2 years this game has been over at halftime. They have to come out, make some plays, take care of the football, prove early on that they came to play.
All right, we're also going to be hearing from Heather Cox today. Kickoff is coming up. The Horns are ready to roll onto the field. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local ABC stations. You look down on our scene here at the Cotton Bowl. Temperature is a touch muggy today, and Heather Cox, the Texas Longhorns, will handle the ball first.
And Brent, as you know, David Ash is out, so Case McCoy is in. And Case is a very confident player this week, saying this is the type of game I could be remembered for the rest of my life. But Texas coaches were quick to warn Case this week that your strength, your moxie, your gamesmanship could also be your weakness. I don't need a riverboat gambler. Don't do anything extraordinary. Just be a mailman. Now, Mac Brown's parting words moments ago before quarterback took the field: don't win the game, try to manage the game, and no turnovers.
Well, the last 2 years, as Todd Blackledge pointed out, it's been a long afternoon for the Longhorns. In the first half, Todd, they've been outscored 70-12.
Yeah, and 2 years ago it was turnovers that did them in. Last year it was offensive ineptitude. They started the game with 4 straight 3-and-outs. They must get off to a good start today.
Mac Brown, 6-9 against Oklahoma. Bob Stoops, 9-5, his career record against the Longhorns. Red River rivalry underway again, and the Longhorns will bring it out on the 25-yard line. Todd, what do you expect to see early on here from young McCoy?
Well, he threw the ball 45 times in their last game against Iowa State. I don't think they want him to throw that much. The biggest thing with Case McCoy, he doesn't have an overpowering arm. He's pretty accurate. He must throw the ball on time against this very fast Oklahoma defense. Take care of the ball. He's done a nice job as a starter so far in his 3 games.
So they bring Johnson alongside number 32, Johnathan Gray, who has been the key, and now they sprint him out. And they come with Johnson on a cutback run and a very strong first down play for about 9 yards as we take a look now at today's Chick-fil-A impact players, Todd.
Well, when Texas has the football, Johnathan Gray, who you talked about, has really come on, averaging over 100 yards a game the last 4 games. And Mike Davis, their veteran receiver, has to step up. Eric Stryker, outstanding pass rusher, and Aaron Colvin, one of the best corners in the country.
So they bring a little end-around look with Johnson again coming off the wing, and that's a first down. Frank Shannon makes the stop. Twice in a row they've used Johnson.
Well, again, this team is fast on defense. You're not going to get too many plays on the perimeter, but they didn't need much for the first down. He breaks one tackle, and right there is a great start for Texas. Again, they started the game with 4 3-and-outs last year. First possession to get a first down.
The ball is at the Horns, 37. Here comes Gray, his first carry of the game, and he is thrown for a loss. Dominique Alexander, the freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and a young man with a tremendous upside.
Well, this is the guy who's taking the place of their leader on defense, Corey Nelson, who got hurt in the ball game last week. Alexander, very talented. Corey Nelson has been in his ear all week coaching him up.
Let's see if McCoy puts it up for the first time against the Sooners. There is Nelson on that far side, put pads on, but he definitely will not play. They run Gray to the 40-yard line, and Alexander again. There is Nelson, and he so wanted to be a part of this team today. And look at that, Todd. He put his shoulder pads on.
Well, he's from Dallas, played at Skyline High School right down the road from here. Put off his surgery till next Tuesday so that he could help his fellow defensive teammates.
Needs 7 yards on this third down.
Striker, number 19, is their best pass rusher down at the bottom.
Trying to get there, could not complete for a first down to midfield. Goes to his buddy, Jaxon Shipley.
Very nice start for Texas so far. Now they're going to line up and go a little tempo after that second first down. This is Shipley's strength, working the middle of the field.
They throw that flanker screen outside. Kendall Sanders handling the ball for the first time, but it never got started.
The encouraging thing for Texas right now is they've had a little success running the football in this opening possession. They've gotten 2 first downs, and they've got some momentum, and they're in Oklahoma territory.
Gray directly behind McCoy in the pistol. Play action to him. Pocket holds, going nobody downfield. The receivers were working underneath that time, and I think when McCoy turned around, he was looking for somebody to work deep that time.
Well, he was looking for Sanders, who got tied up with Colvin on the play, and I think Case just threw that one away. He didn't like what he saw. He didn't want to take a sack, and he lives the play third down here.
Major Applewhite, one-time Texas quarterback, calling the plays for the Horns, and now he faces a 3rd and 8. Need to reach the Sooners' 40-yard line. And when it's 3rd and long, Mike Stoops calls his defense chaos. And you saw that jumping around, hard to identify, and he got a false start with that chaos look.
And it's a little bit of a gray area because they jump. I don't think they yell, but they definitely try to create that offensive line some nervousness and movement, and they got it on that play.
There is the defensive coordinator, brother of head coach Bob Stoops. And now it becomes a 3rd and 13 against chaos. Malcolm Brown is in the backfield with Johnathan Gray. Offensive line holds, goes to the middle, a perfect strike to Sanders, and a first down at the Sooners' 30-yard line. What a huge third down conversion.
Excellent protection first. Look at the pocket McCoy has to work out of, and then he sees Sanders coming right into the middle of his picture, and a nice accurate throw, but it all started with the protection up front.
22 yards on that third down play. Horns' first possession of this game. Malcolm Brown is the running back, checking with his quarterback. And here comes Malcolm, swinging left. Fine run. Broke the initial tackle as he came across the 30-yard line that time. Good, tough run for Brown.
Oklahoma, with their speed on defense, I mentioned they changed their overall scheme. They have 3 down linemen. They put more speed on the field. They love to attack the line of scrimmage.
Formation strong to the left. Instead, they bring it right up the middle, behind the middle of that, and that was Brown. Or check that now. Let's see who was the ball carrier that time. Indeed, it was Malcolm Brown. 3rd down and 2. Play action. Brown got it and crosses, and I tell you, this is an impressive opening drive.
It's very impressive, and it's very smart by Major Applewhite. He's going tempo with a bigger lineup in. The trade-off for Oklahoma of getting more speed on the field, you have smaller bodies at linebacker. And right now, Texas is running the football right at this Oklahoma defense.
Espinoza is the center. Applewhite's upstairs. He signals the plays down below, tells him on the headset, and then the signaler passes it on. And here's Johnathan Gray, and he is short of the 15-yard line. That will bring up second down coming up. So Todd Blackledge mentioned that offensive line: Hopkins, Espinoza, Walters, and Estelle. And those fellas have done a terrific job on this opening drive. Gray back in now, and he battles close to the first down. This will be 3rd and short coming up.
Take a look at them. They're not real deep. They've got to stay healthy because a couple of their key backups are out of this game.
Quick strike outside Shipley, no first down. Read beautifully by Quentin Hayes, the safety, junior from Lancaster, Texas, makes a big play.
It was read well, but it's a bad pass. You don't want your receiver to have to jump for that throw. You want him to catch that quick and get upfield towards that first down marker.
So that would signal Anthony Fera. He is 5 of 6 kicking field goals. This would be a 31-yarder. His long of the season is 47. It's from near the left hash. Knocks it down. Texas strikes first. But Oklahoma makes a couple of key tackles and holds them to 3. High definition brought to you by Vizio. Todd Blackledge, good sideline for Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, first of all, coming off the field, Dominique Alexander, the guy who stepped in for Corey Nelson, got an earful from Mike Stoops. Well, now Mike's calmed down a little bit. Bob talked to him. Mike said a few more, and then Corey Nelson. This is why he's here. This is why he put off surgery, why he's in uniform today, to stay in the ear of his replacement, Dominique Alexander.
Showing strong leadership on that Sooner sideline. So Clay and Finch are back deep for this kickoff. Rose has the ball on the tee, and he'll kick it away for the Horns. And he'll come out on the 25, and we take a look now at today's Chick-fil-A Impact Players again, Ty.
One of the best players, I think, in college football is the fullback, Trey Millard, for Oklahoma. Had a big game in this game last year. I expect him to be a factor. And defensively, Malcolm Brown on the inside, Jackson Jeffcoat on the outside of that defensive front. Probably the strength of this Texas defense. They have to really stand out today.
And, of course, a couple games ago, number 10, Blake Bell, took over as the quarterback. And the Horns have their first lead since 2009. Remember, they've lost those last 3. Brennan Clay in as the running back for Bell. And they bring it end around. Sterling Shepard with great speed breaks out close to midfield.
Last year in this ball game, Texas had 14 missed tackles. Already a couple on the very first offensive play for Oklahoma. They have bodies there. They just don't make sure tackles.
24 yards on that game. Then they pick the tempo up after a first down, and they bring Clay across midfield. And this will be second down and 10 for the young man known as the Bell Dozer, but he's becoming the complete leader for him.
He really is. I mean, he's doing a great job of taking care of the football. Very accurate short thrower, not as accurate throwing down the field, still a threat to run.
They show that end around look. Bell moving right, throws it out of bounds, and it'll be 3rd and 7. Now, when we take a look at his career, and there he is used mainly as a backup, and he was a rushing quarterback. He came in for Landry Jones, and this year, no rush touchdowns yet, and here he is facing a 3rd and 7. We'll take a look at the youngster throwing the ball here early. Offensive line holds, got the first down, dropped it to Brendan Clay, the running back.
Good read, good patience by Bell. Looking downfield, doesn't like what he sees downfield, knows where his outlet receiver is, gets the ball to Clay out in space.
Now Keith Ford, a freshman at the Sooners. want to take a look at from Cypress, Texas is in. He's number 21. For you folks who have not seen him, he is the running back there. That sort of inverted full house look. And there's a handoff to your man, Trey Millard, and he is close to the first down. Phillips with the stop for the Horns, and again, it is that power running game against the Texas defense.
Well, they're going to see if Texas can defend the run. They've had trouble all season, and that's what Oklahoma does well.
Now they hand it off, and they pick up the first down with Keith Ford. There's your look at the freshman right there. He's got top end speed. If he gets daylight, look out. He's across the 25-yard line. 1st and 10. We talked about the Longhorns being impressive with the first drive. Well, how about the Sooners now behind their offensive line? Eichert is the center. He's the quarterback.
And they basically have two fullbacks in the game. Ripkowski is lined up as a tight end, and Millard in the backfield.
There is Millard. Power right. Nothing doing that time. And Cedric Reed makes a great play. Santos there to help. And there's your offensive line for the Sooners. Thompson, Sheed, Eichert, Irwin, and Williams. Big fellas.
Well, we saw the Oklahoma defense come up with a couple key stops to slow that drive down. There's one for the Texas defense. See what they do on this 2nd and long situation.
Brendan Clay checks back in. Texas with 4 rushmen, and they fire to the outside to Tevin Jackson, his first catch. That's short of the first down. Duke Thomas makes the play.
That is what is critical for Texas's defense in this game. Last week against TCU did a great job of tackling the receivers after short receptions, not allowing yards after the catch. You must do this with Oklahoma because they're going to throw the ball underneath a lot and see how well you tackle.
3rd down and 4 for the Sooner offense.
Got to be alert of Bell running on this play.
Backs up, lobs one, end zone, dropped in the end zone by Clay. And that will bring the field goal team on. This should have been 6.
He had him. It was not well covered. The linebacker Edmond was out of position, and Bell knew that he missed one right there. When you have a guy wide open, Brent, throw it right at him. Don't worry about leading him if you got a guy wide open.
Michael Hunnicutt holds the record. This would be a 34-yarder. He's at 12 of 13 this year. He's from the left hash. We're tied. 3-all. But for the Sooners, it was what could have been. Brennan Clay streaking out of the backfield. And they settle with a field goal.
Football presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, the official hangout for NCAA football. Hyundai, new thinking, new possibilities. And Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. The Cotton Bowl, Dallas, Texas. Red River rivalry. Half the crowd wearing crimson and the other half in burnt orange.
Very similar start for both teams. Both offenses moved the ball well. When they got into scoring territory, the defenses both stood up and made a couple plays. And there we have a 3-3 ball game.
Kendall Sanders is back deep. Joe Bergeron has checked in. He'll also be one of the return men. Hudson with the ball on the tee for the Sooners. And before Texas stalled on their drive, they had converted 3 of 4 third down plays on their opening drive. Hudson nailed one and make it 2. Coming out on the 25.
Now, the last drive, Texas had nice run-pass balance, and on third down, they were very accurate throwing the football. Of course, it starts with good protection, which Case McCoy got, but then he was on target with his throws on third down. The only third down he missed was the throw to Shipley, the ball that was a little bit high, but a very impressive first drive for the Longhorn offense.
Their ace receiver, Mike Davis, did not get into that drive. Johnathan Gray now checks into the backfield, and Case McCoy continues as the quarterback. Gray up the middle, 4 yards.
You know, one thing we didn't mention, Oklahoma is missing another starter, not just Nelson, who's hurt. Jordan Phillips, their starting nose guard, has a back injury, did not practice this week. He is out, so he has a replacement, and Jordan Wade is his replacement, and that's right where Texas is attacking right now, right in the inside running game against Oklahoma.
2nd and 5. They'd probably like to have that fourth third down play back again just because of that, but they have certainly discovered it, as you see Gray powering up there behind Espinosa, as Todd told you. 2nd down and 5. They come again a little short of that first down, so here comes one of those money plays again.
Very manageable third down situation, though. They're getting positive gains. You know, this is what an offense calls staying on schedule. No negative plays. Give yourself a chance on third down with either a run or a pass option with this kind of yardage needed.
4 substitutions pour in off the Texas sideline on this play. Davis is split out to the left. He has man coverage on the far left. Malcolm Brown in as the running back. And it'll be Malcolm Brown for the first down.
Oklahoma tried to bring another guy out on the field, an outside linebacker, P.L. Lindley, number 40. He's a little bigger, but this is excellent blocking straight ahead. The fullback with a nice block to lead the way.
First down and 10 for the Horns. McCoy drops it off short, and nothing doing on that play because Aaron Colvin swallowed the receiver.
Right as I said, staying on schedule offensively, they get a negative play, and that's what Oklahoma likes to do. They like to try to create negative plays behind the line of scrimmage every play. They're very fast and they're very active, and Aaron Colvin read that one quickly.
2nd and 12. Brown stays in as the running back.
Case McCoy needs to be thinking, get part of the yardage here. Maybe half on 2nd and long.
Brown trying to get the right edge, and he does come across the 40-yard line. But here comes another one of those big third down plays. Sanchez is the corner who has been matched up on the outside with Davis, but so far the Horns have not been able to get the ball in number 1's hands. Here's your 3rd and 8, and there's Davis.
You better watch out for Stryker again, number 19. Here he is right here, kind of creeping in there.
Line holds, left side, and there's Shipley.
Now,
and the line judge says he got it. Now he's checking.
It's a matter of whether he got forced out and then came back in, and that's what they're going to say. If he goes out of bounds on his own, he can't be the first guy to touch the ball. They're ruling that he was forced out of bounds, and then he's able to come in and make the catch.
So Julian Wilson, number 2, forced him out of bounds before he came back. 1st and 10, and the ball across the Sooners' 40-yard line. McCoy hit as he releases. Goes deep far side, battle for the ball. They were trying to get the ball to Davis. Sanchez was there. McCoy was blistered by Eric Stryker. Todd Blackley has been telling you that. I'll tell you what Mike Stoops said. Best blitzer I've ever had on my defense. Right there, number 19.
Well, they got to hope that he stays in the ball game right now, because this is going to be a personal foul. Roughing the passer, potentially a targeting foul on Stryker.
Be a huge, huge turnaround in this game.
Good coverage by Sanchez, but that's because McCoy wasn't able to get everything.
Oh my goodness, I thought that was a legal hit looking at it first. I mean, he caught him
See, you're not allowed to go with your hands, forearms, or any part above the neck or shoulders.
They didn't call that. They just called the penalty. Bergeron checks in as the running back now. I mean, Stryker blistered McCoy. Bergeron picks his daylight. Fumble! Battle for the loose ball. Oklahoma says they've got it, and they're saying he's down.
Well, Texas got a fortuitous call on a fumble last week against Iowa State. Let's see if his knee was down before the ball came out. Yes, I think he was down before the ball popped out.
Boy, the body was on top of the defensive player as he goes down. There it is. Ball's coming out. I'm telling you, it's a replay. May turn this over. The body was on top of the defensive player, Frank Shannon. So stay tuned on this one. Let's go back now. We've had some things happen here.
Yeah.
Todd, by the tone of your voice, I thought you thought that Stryker should have been penalized for targeting. I didn't see it, but you did with the hands.
If the hands, forearm, any part of the body hits a defenseless player in the head or neck area, that's a targeting foul. So they didn't do that, and they're going to take a look at this one. And I think you're right. I think the ball did come out.
The Oklahoma crowd was cheering the replay. They saw what we saw. And it's one of those freak things. Now watch the defensive player's body. Underneath, knee doesn't hit. Ball coming out. It's going to be Oklahoma football.
And see, if the elbow would have hit first, he would have been down. But the elbow did not hit the ground before the ball came out.
Still in the air. No elbow on the ground. Football out.
During this 3-game Oklahoma win streak over Texas, turnovers have been a big story. Oklahoma is +8 in the turnover margin in the 3-game win streak. And Mac Brown knows ball security in this series has been a huge issue.
Now I want to go back with this hit. Okay, Todd, you walk through what you thought you saw.
Well, I didn't see it until I saw the replay, but he clearly hit him with his hand in the helmet, in the head and neck area. Now, whether you don't determine he was a defenseless player, I guess that's the ruling. It was a personal foul. It was not considered a targeting foul. And supposedly the change to
now,
the targeting is...
I want to show this angle. Well, the right hand, a little finger up on the face mask area, very, very close.
See, the change here in the last couple weeks is that every foul like that is going to be reviewed. But, you know, by rule, I'm assuming they did.
After further review, the ball was fumbled and recovered by Oklahoma. First down at the 20. Please put 3:38 on the clock. 3 minutes, 38 seconds. Timeout.
So when you come back, it will be Oklahoma football coming out from the 20-yard line after the turnover. The Cotton Bowl, and ESPN's got 2 great games later today. 5 p.m. Eastern, Michigan takes on Penn State, Big Ten battle. Then at 8:30 on college football prime time, presented by Hampton Hotels. Johnny Manziel and Texas A&M take on Ole Miss. Kirk Herbstreit on his way to Oxford. He'll work with your buddy Brad Nessler in that game tonight. Todd, nice to have you with us, my friend.
It's good to be here. Love doing this game.
Yeah, this is one of the best, isn't it?
It is.
Damien Williams now, a power back into that backfield for OU. Another former quarterback, Josh Heupel, calling the plays for the Sooners. How about that? A couple of quarterbacks who played in this game. Applewhite and Heupel over here for the Sooners. Banging right straight ahead with the power back that time, and Diggs with the tackle for the Horns.
It's a very important response drive for the Texas defense because they played well in the first possession when it got into scoring territory.
On 2nd down and 6, they come with a little tempo. This is going to be 3rd and long because Santos, one of Greg Robinson's linebackers who's been learning under him for the last couple of weeks. Remember, they were without Hicks. We talked about Nelson on the other side. And, of course, the Horns are without Jordan Hicks, their best linebacker. He was lost. Injured a couple games ago for them.
Sometimes
so both teams short-handed tied.
Yeah, sometimes when you go with tempo, you hope to get the defense out of position. That time, they got themselves out of position, and Texas responded with a great play.
3rd and 4 for Bell and the Sooners. The Horns show pressure along that line. They're coming. They got a shot at Bell. Intercepted as a result. His first interception of the season. Touchdown, Texas! Big Chris Whaley, 300 pounds, rumbles in. And I do mean rumbles. They'll review that touchdown upstairs. Jim Blackman and D. Anderson, our replay officials, will take another look at it.
Talked about an important response drive for the Texas defense. That's pretty good response right there. Excellent call on the blitz, and this is what they're checking. Did he get the ball across the goal line? Bell trying to drag him down short of the goal line. Wow, I think that's a touch.
That was a terrific effort by the big man, going airborne at about the 2-yard line. Re-rack it now. Watch. You certainly remember now it has to be conclusive.
His arm was down. Was the ball across the goal line? Only needs the nose across the line before he's down. I'm not sure there's enough to overturn that.
The quarterback wrestling him all the way after throwing his first interception of the season. And that is a big man on a big man. Bell, one of the bigger quarterbacks that you'll see.
See, when his hand was down, it was not down. But when the forearm went down, Bell threw the interception because he wasn't able to get enough on the ball. The pressure from Phillips is what created the bad throw. And then you had Whaley dropping into coverage. It was a zone blitz. The blitz got there. The drop defender got the pick.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Greg Robinson's defense dials up pressure. And as a result, a zone blitz touchdown for the Longhorns. And there's the big man. He's out there on that extra point team. Got his breath on the sideline. Got a few slaps on the back, and he goes out there now to help block. Anthony Fera, the transfer from Penn State, tacks on the extra point. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC. Texas takes a 10-3 lead in the Red River rivalry, Todd.
Well-designed zone blitz. Here's the safety, Adrian Phillips. It's going to come unblocked. Here's the lineman who normally rushes, is going to drop into coverage and get the interception. They still brought pressure, but they fooled Bell both on the blitz and where the defender was, and Texas with a huge defensive play.
Finch and Clay back deep for the Sooners. 2:29 remaining here in the opening quarter. Returnable from the 3-yard line is Finch. Out to the 26-yard line. You know, Todd, Josh Heupel and Major Applewhite, we talked about the two offensive coordinators. How about this? It's pretty interesting going head-to-head.
Yeah, and they both have such great memories from this game. And I thought it was interesting. Major Applewhite said, you know, both teams come down the same tunnel. He said it's that gladiator-type feeling, walking down the tunnel and onto this feeling. There's nothing quite like it.
There are the two upstairs. Major Applewhite, you will remember, was the offensive coordinator at Syracuse when Greg Robinson was the head coach. And then he came back home to work at his alma mater. Clay is back there with Blake Bell. And Clay gets the call, left side, daylight. out to about the 30-yard line on that first down.
Right now, it'll be interesting to see how Josh Heupel talks to his new quarterback, Blake Bell. He's played very well. He's had very little adversity. Well, he's had to endure little adversity here early in this ball game.
Josh Heupel wants to spread the field a little bit this time. Millard goes to the sideline. He'll have 3 wide out to the right.
A lot of short throws, under 10 yards, and then hope those guys can make people miss with their run after the catch ability.
2nd and 7. They throw that flanker screen out wide. Phillips makes the play over there, and that's the leading receiver, Jalen Saunders. When you watch the Sooners practice, number 8 is very, very prominent. And you can see they spread it now to the left side on this 1st and 10.
Yeah, 8 and 3. Saunders and Shepard are their 2 best receivers. They both are good in space with the ball in their hands.
Texas shows the 4-man front and nothing doing that time for Brennan Clay. And Reggie Wilson, defensive end, in there with a big play. What's interesting about the Longhorns, the senior class, think about this now. They have never, as in ever, beaten Oklahoma. And it is known that these fellas, they want a scalp today. These guys don't want to be known as a senior class that never beat Oklahoma. Damien Williams now is a running back for the Sooners. Play action. Throws underneath to Jaxon.
You must tackle these wide receivers after short catches. Even in the Tulsa game, when Blake Bell threw for over 400 yards, most of the yardage came after short completions and long runs. So far, Texas has been up to the challenge. One thing we have not seen yet is Blake Bell as a runner on a designed run. Wouldn't be surprised to see one on this 3rd down play.
Still needs 6 yards, and they're going to go over to the side to take a look at it. Meanwhile, let's get an update. Here's Robert Flores. Robert, you're up early today. Yeah, Todd, that's a shame what's happened to the running backs at Georgia.
I know. I mean, the good news for them is they've got a couple of freshmen that are pretty good, but they're freshmen, and they hope to get Gurley back soon. Obviously, Marshall is out, but they're going to have to lean on that right arm of Aaron Murray a little bit harder.
You know, Todd, at the top of the broadcast, go back on what you said when I asked you the key. You said Texas has to get off to a good start. They've done that.
They've absolutely done that on both sides of the ball. Their offensive line has played well. They've had a good run-pass mix. And their defense, which coming into this game has had a difficult time stopping the run, giving up almost 250 yards a game rushing, has been up to the challenge of stopping Oklahoma. And the more you can put Oklahoma in 3rd down and 5, 6, 7 yards to go, the better off you are.
So Greg Robinson has dialed up the Texas defense for this 3rd and 6.
They're going to challenge the receivers. Right now, they're showing man with a free safety. They're trusting that their rush can get to the quarterback before you find an open receiver.
Rush 4. It holds and almost picked off again. Beautiful defensive play by Duke Thomas on that ball as we come to the end of the 1st quarter with that defensive play.
Texas's wake-up call was right on time this morning. They are right in this football game, nose to nose with Oklahoma and not backing down an inch.
The underdog is howling in Dallas, Texas. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Bob Stoops trails by a touchdown, but take a look at those numbers. Outscoring opponents 57-0 in the second quarter. And a year ago, it wasn't over after the first quarter. It was over at halftime when the Sooners blitzed Mack Brown and the Longhorns in that second quarter. And of course, this game has been a thorn in the side of Mack Brown through the years, especially the last 3 years. Right now, the officials are taking a break. They're going to go over and get their timing mechanism all set. But I talked about how you really can call this Mack Brown's Waterloo. When you think of all the rumors, speculation about his future with Texas, take a look at this Red River rivalry, all right? Only 4 times in Mack Brown's tenure at Texas has he allowed 55 or more points, and all 4 of those were against Oklahoma and Bob Stoops. And oh, by the way, 2 of them were the last 2 years. And a year ago, it was 63-21. But let me point out right now that the French Army, led by Napoleon Mack Brown, is having a heck of a day. We may be rewriting history here today.
Well, that's why he's smiling right now.
Exactly.
His team has come to play, and that was what was essential, that they answered the bell early. They've done that, and now they got to finish this half.
Yeah, exactly. They've got to really stand up in this half. But I've been very impressed, and I got to tell everybody something. Coming down, he was looking at the iPad, going through play. You said, Brent, I think Texas can get pressure on this offensive line. You said that.
Well, I do think their front is the best part of this Texas defense, and they've come to play today, and they've done a great job of stopping the run and putting Oklahoma in definite passing situations. And for as well as Blake Bell has played so far this year, this is a little bit newer area, and I think TCU kind of exposed them a little bit last week and stopping them, and Texas is playing to that today.
By the way, what was the name of that barbecue place at the Brazos?
Barbecue on the Brazos, man.
Whoa, taste of the town, Todd Blackledge. Where have you been, my friend?
You stick with me. I'll make sure I take care of the food.
Barbecued quail?
Yeah, That's a new menu item. To go with the Texas Trinity of ribs, brisket, and sausage.
You did a good job
There's
out
a
of yesterday.
malfunction with the pager system. We'll use a backup system, and the signals will come from the sideline.
So it's 4th and 6 coming up here for Oklahoma. The punter, of course, is on the field right now. So that's Jed Barnett. Johnson is back deep for the Horns, standing back on his own 20-yard line. Barnett's sort of interesting. He started his college career at Cal, and then went to a JC, and finally transferred to Oklahoma. So here he is.
You have to be safe and smart here if you're Texas. Probably not a fake, but be alert for it as well.
Johnson. Perfectly aimed punt. Beautiful. They pinned him over on the right side, and it was that punter pre-planned Barnett. And then the punt team got down. As we take a look, Todd, at our Pacific Life game summary.
Well, so far, again, Brennan Clay had a chance at a touchdown. Would have tied this football game. Johnathan Gray playing pretty well. Blake Bell had the interception return for a touchdown.
Johnson and Gray both in that backfield. And this is Johnson. You see who came flashing again. Colvin
and Stryker.
I'm going to tell you.
They blitzed off the short side of the field. They anticipated run. Well-timed blitz, well-called blitz by Mike Stoops. Create a negative play on first down.
They put McCoy in 2nd and 13. You're going to try to run out of it, and nothing much doing on that play with Johnson. Let's check in down below with Heather Cox. Heather?
Well, you saw Dominique Alexander in on that tackle, and you've seen all the interaction between he and Corey Nelson. I talked to Corey Nelson before the game about the advice he gave to Dominique. He said, embrace the moment, play for your teammates, which will allow you to play hard and fast. And an update on Corey, as Todd mentioned, surgery on Tuesday, then 5 months of rehab. And yes, they are going to ask the NCAA for that extra year. So we might see him in this game next year, guys.
All right, Heather, as you were saying that, they want to down kick right back on that field. Here comes a draw play, and Gray's got a first down, breaks free with that speed. Midfield. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. A well-executed draw play by the Horns.
And they caught Oklahoma anticipating pass. Set up very well. Nice job by Malcolm Brown, the other back in the backfield, number 28. And Gray shows you that ability to make some people miss in space.
You know, Todd, when you go back to Texas' last game on a Thursday night, it gave them a few extra days to get ready for this game, and it shows.
Absolutely, and their third down production has been outstanding so far in the ballgame.
It was a 38-yard run right there on that draw play. And they come back with Brown after the block, and he blasts for another first down. And Mike Stoops' defense on its heels right now.
This is just a zone play to the left, but you give that back the ability to cut it back. As long as you secure the backside, with Jeff Swain, number 82, did, that back can cut it anywhere on that play.
Now 1st and 10, and they continue with that running play look. Malcolm Brown, the ball carrier, and Ndulue. Chuka Ndulue worked all night on that one. Ndulue made a real good play.
The key for Texas so far in this first half is their ability to run the football. They have not been able to run against Oklahoma the last 2 years. They have taken pressure off Case McCoy, taken pressure off the passing game because they've been able to run right at this Oklahoma defense.
Ball to 29-yard line, and here comes Gray right up the middle. The middle of this offensive line.
Yeah.
Doing one heck of a job here in the first half.
Again, Oklahoma playing without their normal starter in the middle, Jordan Phillips, and their best defensive linebacker, Corey Nelson.
3rd and 3, quickly with tempo, but nothing doing. Jammed that time. And the Sooners bunched up at the point of attack.
Well, that's the second time we've seen Texas try to go for tempo on a 3rd down play and come up short. They tried to throw it to Shipley in their first possession. That time they tried to sneak a quick run in and came up short.
They bring a fullback in.
They're going to go for it.
De La Torre is coming in. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 2. Leading 10-3. Davis is out to the right, but they'll show power. Oklahoma stacks that front. Play action, roll right. He had a man wide open and threw incomplete. De La Torre, who came in from the sideline, he was open.
He had him, but Stryker, you see the speed of Stryker. Watch Stryker come off the edge. He's so quick getting into the face of McCoy that Case isn't able to get an accurate throw.
So, Todd, you want to second guess Mac on this call, or you want me to?
I don't mind that call. They had it.
I kick a field goal. We'll be right back.
You're a numbers guy.
We welcome you back to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, where Texas is upsetting Oklahoma at the moment. Todd?
Well, Oklahoma caught a break because Eric Stryker, I think, was not supposed to rush but cover the fullback coming out on this play. He decided to rush. De La Torre was wide open. Case McCoy just couldn't get him the football. And on the sideline, Bob Stoops had something to say to his linebacker, Stryker. I don't think he did the right thing, but he got away with making a play.
Oh, that's great. Stryker strikes me as a freelancer. Here, Brennan Clay will be the running back. That was the Longhorns' first pass of that drive, George Hill points out to me. Now, Bell, incomplete. And that was, of course, intended for Saunders. Let's check in with Robert Flores for an update. Robert? All right, keep us up to date on that one. Here, Texas beating Oklahoma 10-3. That's Finch going in motion out of the backfield. They're going to slip it over to him. And it was a forward pass, not a lateral, incomplete.
They had it, though. You know, they love this play. They put the back in motion and throw a swing. You have two receivers blocking in front. If he catches that, it's just like an outside perimeter run play. It's not really a pass play because he's got blockers in front and another 3rd and long for Oklahoma.
And they were only 1 of 4 on 3rd downs. Bell looking downfield, incomplete. Diving effort by Shepard. He was well covered by the nickel man, Quandre Diggs.
Texas is playing with great confidence on defense right now. They don't fear the wide receivers. They're playing a lot of bump and run, man-to-man coverage with a little safety help, and they are right on these guys on any downfield routes. I don't think they believe Blake Bell can beat them throwing the football down the field, and they're playing coverage that supports that idea.
Johnson goes back deep. Jet Barnett, the Sooner punter. Johnson is standing just about at the Horns' 40-yard line, so they can wind up with excellent field position. But he is an excellent punter. Oh, man. He drove him back to the 25-yard line and kept him inside the hash on that right side. Excellent punting. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC.
The college football presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, brought to you by AT&T, Rethink Possible, and Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed.
Now the State Fair of Texas, and look who's back. Good to see you there, Big Tex. He was under the weather for a while, but they got a new one. And Jackie, our stage manager, will take a half dozen of those corn dogs for Todd, me, and the guys at the booth at halftime. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. So it will be Longhorns football. They lead this one 10-3, keeping the Sooners out of the end zone. Although if you weren't with us, the Sooners had a touchdown pass that was dropped in the end zone.
And Case McCoy needs to continue to be smart with the football. If he throws, throw on time, and don't take any unnecessary risk. He's not turned it over since he's been the starter. He's got to keep that up right here.
Here's Gray. Gray kicks his daylight well.
I tell you what, he's been averaging 103 yards a game over the last 4 games. And Major Applewhite said when we first got him, we knew he was great in high school. But when he first got here, he didn't show the physicality or the ability to make people miss in practice and in early games as much as we thought. But he gets better and better. Every time he carries the football now, he gets better and better. And he is playing really well.
Come right back to him. Second effort, close to the first down. Here comes third down, and Todd, on third downs here today, the Longhorns are 6 of 8.
Yep, and mostly because they haven't had long yardage situations. They've been in very manageable situations. As long as you have the ability to either run or pass on third down, you have the edge over the defense, even a defense as good as Oklahoma.
De La Torre comes back in as the fullback, and Malcolm Brown on this 3rd and 1. Power I. Here's Malcolm for the first down.
See, I think Oklahoma doesn't really have an answer for the power inside running of Texas in the ballgame so far. They're missing a couple key guys. They're playing a style of defense with smaller, faster bodies, so they're much faster on the perimeter, but right in the gut of their defense, they're getting gashed a little bit by Texas in the first half. What you sacrifice with speed on the field is bulk and size, particularly at linebacker.
McCoy backs off into that pistol look. Play action, going to go deep down the right sideline. He overthrew a man and out of bounds.
Great
His target that time was Shipley, and Aaron Colvin was right there.
You're not gonna fool Aaron Colvin. Texas likes to do a lot of double moves. They tried to do a little stop and go, and Aaron Colvin, one of the real leaders of this defense and really one of the best pure cover corners in all of college football.
Gray and Brown in this backfield set for Major Applewhite. Sooners rush 4. Good second effort run that time. Gray crosses the 45-yard line, but that brings up another third down. This is a little bit third and longer now.
A little tougher, but still manageable. The offensive line has done a good job protecting Case McCoy so far today. Let's see if Mike Stoops calls for a little pressure here. I like what they've done formation-wise. Oklahoma better get a timeout. They don't have anybody guarding the slot right now. There it is. They were really mixed up because Texas put a formation with a running back out wide to draw coverage from Colvin, and nobody was guarding the slot.
And the Stoops brothers having a little chat about that over there on the sideline. But the boss has the last word. We've got a timeout. I don't have Herbstreit. But I've got Blackledge, and he's going to nail you. Who were the starting quarterbacks the last time that Texas defeated Oklahoma? Think about that a little bit. The last time that Texas defeated Oklahoma. Aha.
Oh,
you think about it. We'll give you a little time.
So I know it was Colt McCoy, 2009, right?
Johnathan Gray. I told you, Affleck, he'd be all over you, man. Johnathan Gray's into that backfield. Alongside McCoy, of course, the younger brother.
A lot of movement from Oklahoma trying to confuse the pass protection of Texas.
Left tackle may have pulled back a little bit too early on that. Might have broke the snap count.
See, the reason this is effective is when you stand everybody up.
Number 51, offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
When you stand everybody up and move around, the line has trouble identifying. There's the early movement by the left tackle, but ideally, you want your offensive line and your center particularly to say, okay, we're going to block these 4 big guys, and this is the middle linebacker we're identifying. When you move around and stand up and shift, it's hard to make those identification calls.
3rd and 12. Comes a blitz. Doesn't get there. Far side. Caught on the run. A beautiful throw against the blitz for a touchdown. And Marcus Johnson takes it to the house. 59 yards for the underdog. Todd, that came on 3rd and 11.
Yep. Case McCoy knows he was going to get hit because there was a free guy coming, but he also knew because of the blitz, he had single coverage on a wheel route by Marcus Johnson, and he threw a perfect pass.
And Fera tacks on the extra point.
Here's Marcus Johnson. He's going to run a wheel route and up the sideline. The outside receiver's coming in, so it's one-on-one out there. And Case McCoy knows all he has to do is hang onto the ball long enough to let his man clear the route, and then he throws a beautiful pass over the outside shoulder for the touchdown. See, instead of picking on Colvin, you go on the nickelback, Kaz Everett. Your chances increase, and you get a touchdown on the back end.
Case McCoy with a terrific strike off that blitz. Look at him catch the ball in stride. And Johnson just takes it in. And here is Case McCoy's reaction. And here is the quote from young McCoy on today's game. I could be remembered for the rest of my life. We've got to beat them. That's something you're known for when you come here. That was on Monday, folks. And if this holds up, they're going to remember that scoring strike for a long time.
See, his brother was 3-1 in this game. A 4-year starter. He won 3 of them. Case wants to get into that family bragging rights a little bit, too.
Let's check in now with Robert Flores for an update. Robert? All right, a lot of things starting to break on this Saturday, and it's going to be a great day of college football all day long. Trailing by 2 touchdowns. The heat is on Blake Bell.
You still have to tackle well if you're Texas's defense. That's what they've done a beautiful job of here in the first half. They look better on defense in the first half of this game than they've looked at any point this season.
Thank you, Greg Robinson. All right, time's up on the Affleck.
I had Cole
got
McCoy,
Case. You got
but
Cole?
I don't remember the other one.
Okay, here it is now. This is sort of interesting. Sam Bradford started that game, re-injured his shoulder, replaced by Landry Jones.
Wow.
But it was Sam who started the game.
Okay.
But you got Cole right away. You were all over that.
Yeah, I knew that one.
So Hurt Street's 50% wrong. Second down and 7, everybody, at age 17. Far side nailed. Another example of that great tackling that you're talking about. That was Bindum.
They're going to throw under and hope you miss one tackle because they got quick guys that can make yards after the catch, but not if you tackle like that.
Third down and 3. And the Texas fans have climbed into this one. They were so quiet when this game began.
They weren't even all in the stadium when it all began.
Exactly. They came late.
Timeout by Oklahoma.
There it is. Timeout has been called.
If either team looks rattled in this game, it's Oklahoma. And, you know, if anybody you expected to be a little bit rattled, it would be Texas. Oklahoma looks a little more unsure of what they're doing right now than Texas does.
Yeah, good start will do that for you.
Yep.
That'll change the pressure factor, won't it, folks? Timeout. At Blackledge, I know what you dial up here.
Absolutely. I mean, this has been an Achilles heel for the Texas defense all season. Their ability to stop quarterback runs, whether they're by design or scramble when things break down. Blake Bell is a big physical runner. He has not carried it yet in the ball game today. That's what I expect to see right here on this third down play.
Third and 3. 4 wideouts for OU. Texas trying to stack the front, though, and OU may have switched here. Now they pull the backers out. And he's going to look to throw it. They'll try to keep him contained. And it is complete at the 47, and there's a penalty flag thrown in the backfield.
In the area where you expect holding as the quarterback left the pocket.
79, offense, 10-yard penalty. Third down.
At Darrell Williams.
It's a nice job by Blake Bell extending the play. Darrell Williams not quite sure where his quarterback was. He's the right tackle, number 79. He's okay right there, but then when Blake Bell leaves the pocket, he just instinctively reaches up and grabs his man and draws the flag.
So now it is 3rd and 13. For Oklahoma. They must reach the 35-yard line for a first down. Receivers are covered, tries to take off, and he is sacked. Jaxon Shipley, son of an NFL legend, makes the tackle.
When you trust your front four to rush and not have to bring extra guys to blitz, then you can play great coverage. So you rush 4 and drop 7 into coverage. Blake Bell had time, just nobody open. And then they get the coverage sack because Blake Bell can't go anywhere with the football.
Johnson is back deep. And Jed Barnett has been an outstanding punter for Oklahoma here last couple of times. We'll hit this one at about the 8-yard line. High, Johnson got a return. Slips, breaks a couple of tackles, and makes his way to the 46-yard line. Reminder that tonight now on ABC, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup heats up under the lights in Charlotte. Don't miss the Bank of America 500 in Charlotte tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Jimmy Johnson closing in on Matt Kenseth. What a duel that's going to be. Well, you don't want to miss it tonight if you're a NASCAR fan. First down and 10 coming up here for the Horns. Johnathan Gray is the running back. They lead by 2 touchdowns.
2 tight end set for Texas. Again, they've had great success running inside against this Oklahoma defense. Come out in a run set right away on this possession.
And they do run right at him with Gray. He's at midfield.
Right now, I think if you're Mac Brown and Major Applewhite, you want to take as much time off the clock on this drive as you can. If you get more points, great. You've got field position, eat clock, get to the locker room with a 14-point lead at least, and put the pressure even more squarely on Blake Bell's shoulders to start the third quarter.
2nd and 7. McCoy moves up under center. Play action. Drops back, goes back down that far sideline, incomplete. Actually, he was trying to get Davis more on that right hash.
Well, he had him. You know, I think this is on Colt McCoy. He knows he missed him. With no free safety in the middle, you don't throw that ball up the hash. You throw it away from the defender and let your guy run to the football. That time he threw that over the wrong shoulder, and he didn't have to.
And as a result, the Horns face a 3rd and 7.
Like I said, Colt McCoy, he probably was upset too, but that was Case who threw it.
Johnson and Malcolm Brown in the backfield. Timeout called by McCoy. The Horns burn one here on this 3rd and 7 at 5:25. Let's check in with Robert Flores for an update. Robert? No, I'm telling you, after that stop for the barbecue, I don't know that he's touched anything. He's been full for a couple of days, but he did clean his plate yesterday.
And I do anticipate 1 or more corn dogs at halftime. But beyond that, no.
Say, Heather, did you try some of that fried butter? I know they don't have that out in Boise.
I'm ashamed to admit I tried the fried PB&J, and it was spectacular. But meanwhile, let's change subjects to the heat down here. Texas defense without their starting defensive tackle, Chris Whaley. He got the pick 6 earlier, and it wore him out. He's being attended to for illness and overheating. Very much a warm, hot, humid. He's had ice towels on the head. They're forcing fluids. They continue to evaluate him. Meanwhile, Desmond Jackson will be in his place. You burned me, Brent.
3rd down and 7, Heather.
Pay attention at striker, number 19. He's coming on the rush. Here he is right here. Best pass rusher out there for Oklahoma.
They don't get there, and it's complete for the 1st down. Shipley.
You put the receivers in a little bunch stack set. It's hard to match up man for man in that, and he gets Shipley working the middle of the field. A tight stack formation, Shipley in the middle. That's where he's most comfortable, working the middle of the defense on option and crossing routes.
And McCoy, 9 of 13 for 125 yards, and that one beautiful touchdown strike to Johnson. Here's Gray. It's stacked up on the right. Reverses the field, and down he goes with Hayes hanging on, the strong safety.
Not sure what Johnathan Gray was doing on that play. I mean, at first it looked like he was going to stop and pitch it back like a flea flicker, because he almost completely stopped, and then he changed directions. Looked very hesitant on that run. The very first time he's looked that way the entire game.
2nd down and 11, 4:20. Here's Gray.
Didn't look hesitant there.
Boy, he hit that hole, didn't he, and pounded it down to about the 32-yard line.
Running great with really nice pad level, keeping those pads low, running with leverage. They're inside running. Again, against a new nose guard. Jordan Wade's a redshirt freshman, number 93 in there. Young new linebacker in Dominique Alexander, who's in there for Corey Nelson. That's what set the whole table for Texas offensively, their ability to run inside against Oklahoma.
Facing another one of those third downs here. We move toward the 3:30 mark in the first half. McCoy got a man wide open. Incomplete. He had Kendall Sanders for a touchdown.
What did I tell you about when you have a guy wide open? They went double move. They got Colvin to bite. He's open. Throw it right at him. Don't worry about leading it in that position. If you have a wide receiver wide open, throw that ball right at his numbers and let him make the sure catch.
So it'll be 4th down and 5. And here comes the long Anthony Fera 50-yard field goal attempt. A miss here would give the Sooners pretty good field position. Fera, though, with a strong leg. On its way. Looks good, and it is. A 50-yard field goal makes it 20-3 Longhorns.
You know, when Anthony Fera transferred from Penn State last year, he got to Texas injured. He had a leg injury. He never really developed last year. This year, he's healthy, and he's had an outstanding start to the season.
Mac Brown and the Longhorns shocking the college football world here today. If you go back now, in 2010, Oklahoma won it 28-20. Then at 11, it was a rout, 55-17. Last year, 63-21. And guess what? Todd Blackledge has talked about number 10, Blake Bell. Hasn't rushed. He scored 4 rushing touchdowns in that win last year.
Well, one was from 8 yards out. The other 3 were 1-yard runs. That was what he did. That was his role last year. I'm still surprised that we have not seen one quarterback designed run in the first half yet for Oklahoma, though.
Finch and Clay back deep for Stoops. At the goal line, Finch again. Coming down the left hash. Looking for daylight. Breaks free. Going to be in a foot race. And finally pushed out of bounds at about the 27-yard line, the line judge says. But he gives the Sooners a huge lift with that 73-yard return.
Bryson Eccles saved the touchdown with a great hustle play, but this was what Oklahoma needed. They struggled on offense. They turned to their special teams to make a play. Coming into the game, Texas was last in the Big 12 in kickoff coverage. They kicked most of them out of the end zone to start the game. That one, they give up the big return. Ford's back in the game now, the power runner, the young freshman they're really high on.
Millard with his first carry. Speaking of power runners, he's short of the 20-yard line. Santos with the stop. And now can the Sooners finish?
Yeah, and I'm going to say it again. If I don't see Blake Bell on a designed run, a zone read, some kind of quarterback power run on this possession, I'm going to be really surprised. They're in the red zone or close to the red zone. He's a 6'5", 6'6", 250-pound running back who is hard to tackle from going forward.
Keeps Ford right behind him. Checks that sideline. Josh Heupel is calling the plays. Got a glimpse of the Horns defense. Here comes Ford. Hole on the right side. First down, and now they are in that red zone with Phillips making the stop, and that youngster running with authority. Coach has told us up at practice, we've got to get him some reps.
Well, he's a power guy. You know, the other guys, Clay and Williams, not quite as big. All 3 of them with great speed. And Ford in there in a critical part of the game right now.
The fullbacks are in with the freshman tailback. And they do show that bulldozer power. Then they run Millard again. Freshman out front with a block. Millard to the 10-yard line on that first down. Edmond with the stop.
You know, it's interesting. In the Notre Dame game, a big win Notre Dame started to close the gap in the first half, and late in the first half, they threw their third interception of the ball game. Oklahoma responded with a touchdown right before half to make it 21-7.
Damien Williams reports in. He's the running back. Second down and 5. Right at the Horns, 10-yard line. Millard first and goal to the 2, crushing them with number 33. Folks, those of you who follow the NFL, like to watch college football, wonder about it. You just pencil this guy down to the third round, and he's going to play. He's going to play well, and they go right now with tempo, and they walk in for the touchdown. Damien Williams.
I'll tell you the guy who didn't get much credit on that drive because we didn't call his name, but Aaron Ripkowski, number 48, a key blocker that whole possession. The other fullback leading the way for Millard, and that time leading the way for Damien Williams in the touchdown.
So Texas started off the game with an impressive power running game, but now it is the Sooners who have answered with their own power running game.
Great field position after the kickoff return, and a nice response.
So there is the extra point. Tacked on by Hunnicutt.
73-yard kickoff return set it all up. Texas had tackled well in the first half. 3 missed tackles on this kickoff return. Finch makes him pay for it and sets up his offense with a short field. They'd had struggle moving the football consistently, but with the short field, they go power running. Millard for a couple carries, and then Damien Williams with the touchdown. So a good response with the short field by the power running of Oklahoma.
A little over a minute left here in the first half. And these folks here at the Cotton Bowl, they're getting their money's worth today in this one.
And you go back to the pass that Case McCoy missed. You know, he had his guy open. It would have been a touchdown instead of a field goal. As it is, they're still looking to go into the locker room with the lead. Of course, Blake Bell had one like that. It could have been a touchdown that was dropped by Brendan Clay. A couple near misses for both quarterbacks in the first half.
And a reminder, stay tuned now for the Cooper Tires halftime report. We'll have scores for the games that have started. Missouri. Everybody wondering how good are the Tigers. And they're showing it today down in Athens, Georgia. You'll see those highlights at halftime. On a bounce to the 5-yard line, Sanders. Coming around now, another good strong return. Not as good as Finch's.
I liked it, though, as a reverse. I mean, a pretty gutsy call with a minute left in the half. They went for a reverse on the kickoff return and almost popped it out.
Yeah, Colbert is the young man who wound up with the football. And, of course, 2 great games later today. Michigan takes on Todd's alma mater, Penn State. Big Ten battle. Then at 8:30 on college football primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels, Johnny Manziel and Texas A&M take on Ole Miss.
Ole Miss has lost 2 in a row to Alabama and Auburn. I give them a chance in that game tonight. Their defense is a lot better than people might think.
Just ask Texas.
Yeah.
Malcolm Brown. Cuts it off. And he is brought down to 36 by Gabe Lynn, the free safety from Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's great to see all the fans. When we were coming down, you see all those Sooner flags. And, of course, coming up from Austin, you got the Longhorn flags. And it's one of the great settings, folks, in college football. Here's Malcolm Brown. Got the first down and then some. Almost midfield. Now Dominic Alexander tackles him.
Because they got that first down, they may take a shot here now, because now they're right at midfield. 27 seconds. They still have 1 timeout. Clock stops while they move the chains. Now they might get a little more aggressive.
They got 4 wide, and that's exactly what they're looking for, Todd. McCoy, deep middle, caught Shipley. Shipley is upended short of the 30-yard line.
Stops the clock for the first down. Did not get out of bounds. So they're going to line up again. Try to get set, get their play called before they mark the ball ready for play.
After the 18-yard gain right here. Here they come now with a 1st and 10. You're
looking at maybe one more completion here with 13 seconds to try to set yourself up for another field goal. You know, I don't know if Oklahoma relaxed on those first couple plays thinking that Texas was just going to kind of pack it in and go to the locker room, but here Texas is in scoring position.
You got 13 seconds. They've already hit a 50-yarder. Keep it on the ground, and Brown breaks close. There's your...
Now they'll use their timeout and kick as the last play of the half. Texas started the game ready to play. They're finishing the first half ready to play. I mean, that was the big question coming in. Would they stay in the game in the first half? They've more than done that.
And for all the criticism that's been heaped upon Mack Brown, some of it justified, he deserves credit.
Absolutely.
For this week and this performance right here. This is a terrific performance, and it's only the first half.
That's right. That's right.
A lot of time left.
But can you imagine the difference with this Longhorn team running up that tunnel to the locker room at halftime today compared to the last 2 years? Huge, huge difference. He doesn't have to give a pep talk at halftime to get him to go back out and play the second half.
Napoleon's having a good first half here at Waterloo. So here's Fera now. This a 43-yarder from the right hash. Close to it. On its way. Looks good again. So he backs up that 50-yarder with a 43-yarder, and it's 23-10 at the half. 2-touchdown underdog. When's the last time we ever saw the Horns that big an underdog against Oklahoma? The Stoops brothers will regroup here at halftime. And Oklahoma can get the ball to start the second half. Let's check in now with Heather and Mack Brown.
Brent, thanks so much. Coach, you told me a quick start critical to success today. How did you create that early momentum?
Guys are excited about the game, Heather. We sure played a better second quarter than we have the last 2 years, for sure. But got a lot of football left. OU's a great team, a lot of pride. Our guys have to keep playing. We're running the ball. We're staying balanced. Hit a few deep shots. Kicking game's been good. So disappointing on the kickoff return. They did a great job there, which gave them their 7 points.
Well, you talk about that kickoff return. As you head to the locker room, what is your message to your team about not letting up in the second half? Keep
playing. We said it'd be 60 minutes. We said it's 2 Mack trucks running into each other for 60 minutes. We've just had 30 of that. We got 30 more exciting football left.
All right, Mack, go cool off in that locker room. Thanks, Coach.
All right, Heather, and Mack will certainly take that first half performance by his Longhorns. They responded. Come to the end of the first half here at the Cotton Bowl, so stay tuned after these messages with the Cooper Tires Halftime Report. Welcome back to ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. And at the half, the Texas Longhorns shocking the favorite Oklahoma Sooners 23-10. And with Todd Blackledge, I'm Brent Musburger. And Todd, you've had a chance now to digest numbers and things from the first half. What really impressed you about Texas?
The way their defense played. They stopped the Oklahoma run. I didn't know that they could do that. They had a 24-yard run on the first play of the game, reversed. The rest of the half, only 49 yards. And the other thing they did, which they had to do, was tackle well against these wide receivers in space. Oklahoma throws a lot of balls that are short, inside of 10 yards, and you must tackle well to limit the gains after the catch. This is what TCU did to Oklahoma last week, and in the first half, Texas did the same thing. Did a great job of tackling these little wide receivers in space and limiting the game. Coming into the game, Blake Bell had not thrown the ball down the field much, but he got a lot of yards after the catch, averaging 138 yards a game today, only 19. So the Texas defense did a great job stopping the run and tackling out on the perimeter.
Oklahoma will handle the ball to start the second half here.
I'm curious to see what Oklahoma counters with here in the second half. We still haven't seen Blake Bell run the football. He had 14 carries last week, 40 for the season. Do we even see Trevor Knight for a possession or two as a running threat to try to shake things up a little bit for the Sooner offense?
Nick Rose will kick it away for the Longhorns. Ball rolled off the tee here to start the proceedings. Finch had an explosive kickoff return, which led to an Oklahoma touchdown. So let's see what the Horns do here against that return team. Into the end zone, touchback back on the 25, and our Pacific Life game summary. And Todd, let's compare the first half a year ago with the first half today.
Well, there is no comparison. I mean, you look what Texas has done, 304 yards of offense compared to last year, 65. They controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. That's been the difference in the game, and they took care of the football. The turnover for Oklahoma, the interception by Blake Bell results in a touchdown. So outside of the one mistake on the special teams, it was a near flawless first half for Texas.
Brennan Clay will open as the running back alongside Blake Bell. Bell, number 10. Show the jet sweep, and they hand it off to Sanders. Let's check it down below with Heather.
Brent, believe it or not, Bob Stoops was remarkably calm coming out of the locker room. He knows that there's a lot of football left to be played. The big point of emphasis for him, third down. He said we've got to be much better on the third down defensively, offensively as well. Third down execution critical, especially the run game. He said if we can run in this second half like we did in the end of that second quarter, we'll be in good shape.
And Heather, speaking to that point, Keith Ford, the freshman from Cypress, Texas, went to Cypress Ranch High School, is back on the field for them. And on third downs, Oklahoma was only 1 of 6 in that first half offensively against the Horns. And here is the youngster. No need for a third down on this set of downs as he bolts to the 41-yard line. Phillips, the safety, forced to make the stop.
And guess who the key blocker is? Trey Millard. Number 33, lined up as a fullback that time and led the way for the freshman. Millard does a lot of things. Plays on the end as a tight end, plays in the backfield, catches the ball really well. Still think he'll be a big factor in this game for Oklahoma if they find a way to win.
Senior from Columbia, Missouri. And they are going to open this half and see if they can get that power running game going.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, coming into the game, that's been their bread and butter. 246 yards a game on the ground. They ran for over 300 yards in 2 ball games this year, but they just didn't have much success running it in the first half. And a credit to Bob Stoops and Josh Heupel, you don't abandon it at that point. You just say, hey, we just got to block better.
Aaron Ripkowski, number 48, from Dayton, Texas, is the other fullback. The two fullbacks are flanking the quarterback. Play action Ford. Over the middle to Millard. Excellent receiver, 30. Showing you his versatility and all the things he can do.
See, the first 2 plays he blocks. Now this time they release him. Edmond thought he was coming to get blocked by Millard, and Millard ran right by him for the play action pass. He's so versatile and so dangerous.
From the 27, here comes Ford. Gang tackle, ball fumbled but out of bounds. So it will be second down.
Now, Oklahoma's doing to Texas in this opening possession what Texas did in the first half. A lot of big set formations with extra blockers in and just challenging the physicality of the Texas defense. Running right at him right now.
Damien Williams checks in for this second down. From the 25-yard line, Williams picks up no more than a yard and a half. Edmond with the stop, and here is that third down bugaboo that Heather reported that Bob Stoops was concerned about. So here we go, 3rd and 7.
Well, TCU did a great job defending Oklahoma last week on third down. Held them to 3 of 13 conversions. Texas has taken a page out of that playbook. They've guarded closely, and they've tackled in the perimeter.
4 receivers, stack 3 on the left. Horns rush 4. Takes off. Not going to get the first down. But it is 4th and short. Need a couple of yards for the first down. And Stoops sends the kicking team onto the field.
Last week, the Iowa State quarterback did this on 3rd down 3 times. Scrambled for first downs. Texas gives up a crease, but they close the door quickly and stop Bell short of the first down.
Now Michael Hunnicutt from Richardson, Texas, with a 37-yarder. And it is a 10-point game. 23-13. Texas with the lead after the Hunnicutt field goal. It's available in high definition. Brought to you by Vizio. Cotton Bowl, Dallas, Texas. And there you see the Coach's Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. That'll be awarded to the winner of the Vizio BCS National Championship on January 6th in Pasadena. Nice to see Bill Hancock here. He's the head of the BCS, and of course next year it'll be the Final Four of football that Bill will introduce. They're calling it the College Football Playoff, and if I read that email correctly, there's no S on it.
Oh.
College Football Playoff. So of course we'll get memos every time we say
we
playoff.
should get Jim Moore to do some of the promos.
Playoff. That's awesome. Awesome. One of the best sound bites of all time. Johnson and Bergeron back deep. And this will come out on the 25-yard line.
Well, one of the things Texas did great in the first half was convert on 3rd down. 9 for 12, and they mixed the run and the pass. The offensive line kept it in manageable situations, and that was one of the biggest differences in the first half. Their efficiency on 3rd down, and again, going against an Oklahoma defense coming into the game that was 10th in the nation in defending you on 3rd down at 27% conversion. So that first half 3rd down, Texas did a great job.
Johnathan Gray will open the second half as the running back. Major Applewhite used Johnson, Bergeron, Malcolm Brown, Gray. He used 4 Longhorns in that backfield in the first half. And here is Gray. Crease seals up fast. Jordan Wade, backup noseman from Round Rock, Texas, made the stop for the Sooners.
I just have a feeling that Mike and Bob Stoops spent some considerable time talking to their defensive linemen in the locker room and saying, you guys have to step up. We can't get beat on the inside run in this half the way we did in the first half. You guys have to get off blocks and plug some holes.
2nd and 9, and they come with Johnson on a running play again. You can see right away on 2 plays that they're plugging the holes. The report when we were up at practice was that maybe the weakest part of their defense is that front line, but they had a lot of talent that was very young.
They've got a lot of young talent. But and again, the fact that they're playing with 3 true defensive linemen instead of 4 puts even more pressure on those big guys.
3rd down at 8. Shipley goes in motion over to the left side of the formation.
Overload look to the right of Case McCoy.
Trying to get to him. And they force a bad pass, but there's a penalty flag. Hang on.
See, if they bring 4 from one side, you've got to get rid of the football. You can only block 3. And Case McCoy knew he had to get rid of the football, and he did. Let's see what the penalty is.
Sanders, I believe, was the wide receiver down there.
Pass interference, number 14 defense. Spot foul, first down.
Watch Colvin on this, Todd.
Well, this is a break for Texas. Colvin gets the penalty. Could have got it right there. I don't know if that's where they called it or if they called it at the end. But there was no way Case McCoy was going to complete this pass. He was throwing it away.
Well, that was a face mask.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. 1st down and 10. 3 wide to the left for Horns. And remember, it came on a 3rd down. Pump fake left. And wow, has to throw that ball away. There was pressure.
Well, they were trying to set up
from
the
Shannon. They were trying to set a screen.
Yeah, trying to set the screen for Johnathan Gray. And Case McCoy did the right thing of throwing it away. But you want to throw this at the feet of your guy, not at the feet of a defender.
Chuka was right there. 2nd down and 10. Johnson and Brown are the running backs. That's Brown motioning out. So Johnson, and he is thrown for a loss by Stryker. Eric Stryker from Seffner, Florida. And if you've never heard of Seffner, Florida, it's in the Tampa, Florida area.
Well, he just ran right by the tackle. Kennedy Estelle, number 77, never even got out of his stance before Stryker was by him. Forced the play back inside and also got the tackle.
Another third down, and this 3rd and 13.
And again, this is where Case McCoy has to be smart with the ball. He's protected it all game. If it's there, take a shot. If it's not, there's nothing wrong with punting the football.
Comes the blitz from the linebacker. Stryker's got him again. But Gray, and there is a penalty flag, I think, on that far side as they battle to get back to the line of scrimmage. I thought I saw a yellow flag fly, but I guess not. But at any rate, this was Stryker all over McCoy, Todd.
You got to get help on Stryker. You can't ask your tackle to block him one-on-one. You better get a back to chip, or you better get a tight end to line up and make him come from further away. He's too fast for an offensive tackle.
Saunders back deep for Oklahoma on this punt.
Short.
Lets it go out of bounds, and it's decent field position for Oklahoma. Bevo has been on his feet all day in this muggy afternoon, rallying behind his Longhorns.
College football presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Brought to you by Cadillac, Aflac, official partner of the Heisman Trophy, and the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
The capital of fried food. How'd you like the corny dog at halftime?
Love corny dog. Love it. So much I had to have 2.
Well, we take a look now at the Oklahoma Sooners. This is their last 6 drive. Take a look at those last 2, Todd. Starting to come on here a little bit.
And in both of them, it was a steady dose of power running. The first one, they had the short field, and they strictly ran the football. And the last one, they came out with some heavy formations and ran the football. And Trey Millard was a key factor in both of those scoring drives.
So Texas forced to punt for the first time today, and it was only 24 yards, giving Bell and the Sooners good field possession. Millard alongside. The jet sweep look, and they're going to lead Blake Bell. And not much doing because of Adrian Phillips. Adrian Phillips, a pretty active safety here today.
Well, the second run for Blake Bell in the game. The first one was a scramble on 3rd down. This was a designed run. We have a Longhorn down.
And that is Phillips who is down, and they can ill afford to lose him very long, I'll tell you. Todd, take a look at Millard for us.
He's so versatile. He does so many things. I mean, he can run the football, obviously. He's a big, powerful runner as a fullback. He's also a key blocker in all of the stuff that they do. You see him get the edge here for Ford. And then he's extra dangerous coming out of the backfield as a receiver. He had 119 yards of receiving yards against Texas in the game last year. And then he plays on every special team. So, I mean, he is a guy who does a lot, who's going to play for a long time in the NFL if he stays healthy, because he's so versatile and can do so many things.
So it's 23-13. Heather, down there on the field, it's comfortable up here, but tell me, what's it like down on the field here at the Cotton Bowl today?
It is unseasonably hot, extremely humid, extremely hot. The sun peeks in and out of the clouds, but when the sun pops out, it is definitely very brutal. A lot of the players taking extra fluids. It's interesting, the cooling systems on each side. Texas has those misting fans. Oklahoma actually has a system that runs ice cold water through their benches, through vented benches, to keep them cool. So you see a lot of players sitting down more often than normal. But certainly the elements, something that the players, and really quite honestly all of us, are struggling with today.
All right, so there you have it, a little war of attrition going on here, Todd.
And you know, it's warm obviously in Austin and Norman this time of year, but not the same kind of heat that you're used to in August and September. And as Heather said, it's unseasonably warm and humid, and it takes its toll, that's for sure. Plus you've got the emotion and the adrenaline of a game like this compounds that.
23-13, Texas leads Oklahoma by 10. This is a 2nd and 8, 3rd quarter.
Let's see if they go after Josh Turner, the young man who came in place of Adrian Phillips. He's number 5.
Damien Williams. Nothing doing.
Oh, what a play by Santos. You know, he is not the fastest linebacker, but if you read things quickly, watch him how quickly he read the play and a direct line to the ball. That's a perfect tackling angle taken by Santos to get the stop right behind the line of scrimmage.
On third down, Bell is back. Gonna fire deep, incomplete. Shepard diving after the ball, but it forces Oklahoma to punt, and another third down failure.
Shepard dove, but he didn't stick his hands out. I'm kind of understand why not at least reach your arms out and try to get a hand on the football. He just kind of dove nose first with no hands.
Barnett punting. Johnson back deep. Deshae Johnson standing back on the 15-yard line. And now the officials stop it.
They took too
Delay.
much time.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So you wonder if he isn't more comfortable. He had a big leg that we've seen here, but you would think right there that they would not have taken a delay a game.
They didn't do that on purpose.
No.
They were checking from the sideline. They changed some kind of protection, and that just took too much time.
Here's Johnson inside the 20 at the 15. He's got an alley. 40, 45, and he's headed for the end zone. A Longhorn touchdown. 85 yards for Johnson. Looks on the faces of the two sides tell you the story here at the Cotton Bowl. And they blocked the extra point. Remember, it's a live ball. Last year, Texas scored 2 points on a blocked extra point.
When you return a punt, it's critical to make the first guy miss. He did that. Trey Franks, number 32, was the first guy to miss. And then a bad angle by the punter, Hunnicutt. But check that Barnett. Too much speed once he got into the extra.
Now watch this blocked extra point. Fera did not get it up in the air. Aerial coverage of the Cotton Bowl provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. That is the first kickoff return for a touchdown in over a decade against Oklahoma. And folks, it is a 16-point game with that blocked extra point, meaning it is a 2-score game because of the 2-point conversion. The extra point would have made it a 3-score game. Just one of those little things to keep in mind as we go forward here. Clay is back deep with Finch. Finch has had a big kickoff return in the first half for the Sooners. There's the last one, Jeremy Bloom. He had great speed for Colorado, for the Buffaloes. Come out on the 25.
Punt return, you got to make one guy miss, and you got to pick up a couple blocks. He got 2. Right here, number 2, McKeel Thompson, number 23, Carrington Bindum, both get blocks that they stay with. They don't give up on the blocks, and that's all that Deshae Johnson needed. He made the first guy miss, he picked up a couple great blocks, and then he beat everybody else to the end zone.
As he takes it to the end zone, greeted by the quarterback McCoy, and Damien Williams will be Blake Bell's running back. to open this series for the Sooners. Damien. Good, strong 15-yard run for Damien.
Well, the point that you mentioned, that it's just a 2-score game and we're still in the middle of the third quarter, there's no reason to panic for Oklahoma. You can still run the football. You found something that works in your last couple possessions, running at this Texas defense. Try to take some steam out of them and use your big body. So you don't have to give that up just because you're trailing now by 16 points.
First down and 10, sticking on the ground, and Miller comes out the other end that time.
When you run the ball like this, it gives you some opportunities to throw some play-action passes down the field. They hit Millard on the last drive for a nice play-action pass. I wouldn't be surprised to see him give it a shot here on this possession. You've run well, fake it, draw the linebackers up, and see if you can get a big one down the field.
This heat and humidity tough on the defensive lineman. Chris Whaley, who scored a touchdown in the first half, has been struggling, and he's been off the field. Cutback run that time, and that's short of the first down. So here comes up the third down.
Yeah, this has been kind of the ball game. You know, the third down is always a game within the game. Texas 9 of 13. Oklahoma only 1 of 8 on third down conversions. But we haven't seen many of these kind of situations. Third and relatively short for the Sooners. Blake Bell running the football in this situation is a viable option.
And Whaley does check in for the defensive line for Greg Robinson on this 3rd and 2. Great Keith Ford's second effort. The freshman picks up the first down, carries the tackler with him. Just as you said, Todd, this is a powerful young runner.
Well, and it shows you what the Oklahoma coaches think of him. 3rd and 2, critical football game. You have him on the field instead of your older guys. You trust his ability to get that first down.
First and 10. Bell had time. Incomplete. Let's check in down below with Heather.
Brent, the Texas defense still without senior safety Adrian Phillips. He's been telling the athletic training staff that his head and neck was yanked to the left, causing a severe amount of neck pain. They've been testing that arm, neck, and shoulder strength, and he's been grimacing during the testing. His return is doubtful.
That puts a lot of pressure on that secondary. Bell keeps it. This is going to be 3rd and long. Malcolm Brown, the defensive Brown, makes the stop for the Horns.
You know, when this whole thing blew up for Texas and their defense and they changed coordinators, it was after the BYU game, a game where BYU's quarterback, Taysom Hill, ran the ball for 259 yards. You just can't say enough about the change and the improvement in the Texas run defense from that point to this point.
Absolutely. 3rd down. Bell trying to find an open target, threw high, and it's intercepted at the 30-yard line. Threw it right to Duke Thomas. That's the second interception thrown by Blake Bell here today. The first one was a pick 6.
And this is just a mistake. Watch how happy his feet are. He doesn't see what he likes to throw on time. He never sets his feet. And then instead of throwing it away, he throws it in a position where they can get picked off.
The 3rd down problems continue to plague Blake Bell. This came on 3rd down again, Todd.
Yeah, well, they're 2 of 10 on 3rd down. And this one is, he just got caught. He didn't like what he saw. He kind of panicked. He knew he probably should throw it away, but he didn't throw it out of bounds. He threw it in the field of play, and instead of punting the football, Texas gets it off the interception.
Now it's up to Case McCoy and the Texas offense. Gray to the left side for a couple of yards as we take a look again, Todd, at the woes that have beset Blake Bell and the Sooners on third down so far in this game.
Well, the problem has been they've been off schedule. He's 1 of 7 for 12 yards with a couple picks, but they've had a lot of third and long situations. They've not been effective running the football on early downs, and that set up a lot of third and long situations for him.
Great big hole right side and stopped from getting the first down by Gabe Lynn. Stood him up. The free safety from Tulsa and Jenks High School. Outstanding high school football program up there in the state of Oklahoma. They come quickly now trying to get it. Striker, and he pulled him over. Went for the first down on that play. That was a great hit.
Gabe Lynn is 1 of 2 seniors on this starting defense. It's a pretty young defense. Gabe Lynn and Aaron Colvin, the only 2 seniors, especially now with Corey Nelson out. Big hit that time.
And Gray picks up the first down for Texas. And so the ball is out to the Horns 40-yard line. And Deshae Johnson returned that punt for a touchdown into the backfield. And this is Deshae right here. Look at the cut back. And he's smoked.
Well, Oklahoma looks better in their run defense this quarter. There's no question about it. Even though they gave up a first down here a couple plays ago, they look better. The big guys are getting off of blocks. They're getting more penetration. And they're making it a little bit more difficult for Texas to run. Might come down to a little bit more Case McCoy passing for Texas to loosen up the defense here in the third quarter.
Yeah, only 11 passing. I should say 11 rushing yards. You saw that graphic. Second down and 9. Brown behind McCoy. This is Malcolm Brown behind the left side, picking up 2-3 yards. So now it is the Longhorns' turn on third down, Todd.
The other thing, the other subtle thing that Texas has had an advantage of in this game, not just on the scoreboard with points, and they've had better field position. They've kind of controlled the field position in this football game so far as well.
First down. McCoy slips it into Kendall Sanders' grasp on the near side for the first down.
Working on their best defender, Colvin. Colvin thought that Sanders pushed off before he caught the ball. There's a tempo play after the first down.
Malcolm Brown to the 45. Colvin with the stop.
Man-to-man. Colvin has his hands on. I don't know. I think that's a good no call. I mean, that's just good hand fighting by both guys.
And now a player is down, and of course the Texas fans respond. They think they was faking because they were trying to do tempo, but it's Colvin.
If you're going to fake, you're not going to fake with him because you don't want him off the field.
You got one of the designated big uns to get that. Let's check in with Robert Flores for an update. Robert. All right, and here Texas upsetting Oklahoma 29-13. Colvin taking himself out over there. I mean, he was shaking up on that play, no question.
They told him to go down right there, though.
Cortez Johnson. He's a redshirt sophomore from New Orleans. He will replace the young man in the secondary. Second down and 6. Malcolm Brown bursts for a first down. He came rumbling across that 40-yard line. Powerful run to the 38.
Created just enough confusion with the fake sweep to Shipley. A rare under the center play for Texas. Instead of in the shotgun for McCoy, under the center on that run play.
And they keep him right there, too. Final seconds of the third quarter. Pump fake. Gonna go deep far side. Caught. Davis. Touchdown, Texas.
They go double move, a pump fake. Got Zach Sanchez to take a peek back at the quarterback, and Mike Davis ran right by him. Beautiful throw over the outside shoulder, impossible to defend. Case McCoy has thrown some beautiful balls today, none better than that one.
Somewhere in San Francisco, his brother is cheering. Mike Davis's first catch today, a 38-yard touchdown. Anthony Fera tacks on the extra point. Texas 36, Oklahoma 13.
Texas had two tight ends in the game. They're showing run all the way, and they fooled Oklahoma with the pass. It's single coverage on the redshirt freshman, and Mike Davis fools him. And again, Case McCoy, when it is counted, his balls down the field have been perfect.
You know, in the first half we showed McCoy's quote about how he needed to win this game because people were going to remember it for the rest of his life.
Yeah, we all thought, hey, why are you putting that much pressure on yourself? I think he kind of knew what he was doing.
Right now, he's the star of stars for the Longhorns.
Because he has not pressed it at all either. He has taken what the game has given him and what the Oklahoma defense has given him.
Rose will kick it away for the Horns. Finch and Clay again back deep. On the 25, no return on that one. This is just the start of a busy day in college football. Michigan, Penn State. I'm going to ask Todd about that one. Texas A&M against Ole Miss. How about the Wolverines going into Penn State, Todd?
You know, Michigan has been kind of funny this year. They just haven't looked like what I think everybody expected them to look like the last few weeks. I think they're the better team going in there, but young Christian Hackenberg, for a true freshman, Bill O'Brien's offense has played extremely well.
So here are the yards by half. You can see that the Longhorns gained 303 in the first half, only 72 in the second. But the most important, that last 38 for a touchdown.
And the punt return for a touchdown. So they didn't need the total offense.
Absolutely. There's the jet sweep. Oklahoma was bringing Roy Finch, the running back, around that time. He had a 73-yard kickoff return. Coming toward the end of the third quarter. Pump fake by Bell, in trouble. Now he has to throw it away. And again, it was almost intercepted on that far side by Bindum.
Bindum didn't know where the ball was. Blake Bell again was trying to throw this ball away, but he threw it too close to the field of play. And if Bindum would have had his eyes on the ball, he might have had another interception. If you're going to throw the ball away, throw it up into about the fourth row.
So we come now to the last 5 seconds here. Texas rushes 4. Bell comes back, and that's short of the first down. So when you come back to start the money quarter, it'll be third down for the Oklahoma Sooners. And we'll be back with the fourth quarter after this message and a word from your local ABC stations. The Schooner Ponies can't believe it. They're trailing Bevo 36-13. You know, Todd, you made the point about that game against Iowa State coming on a Thursday night regarding Texas.
Well, it gave them a couple extra days for preparation for Oklahoma, but even more important, a couple days to rest bodies. And I think that's been a huge factor, especially with the heat that Heather's talked about here today.
So Finch will open up as a running back. They like to flare him as they do here, but Bell's looking downfield in a foot race, in trouble, has to throw it away, and then didn't reach the line of scrimmage. Didn't even get close to the line of scrimmage. Cedric Reed all over him.
He was outside the tackle box, so he's allowed to throw it away, but the ball must cross the line of scrimmage in order for it to not be intentional grounding.
And the officials are conferring right now. That's it.
Number 10 of the offense. Spotted the enforcers. Spotted the foul. Went down. Lost him down.
Yep.
Wasn't close.
And it's a loss of down, too, which is even worse.
So their third down problems continue. Johnson, who's already taken one punt for a touchdown for Texas, is back deep. Barnett. And the problems are mounting for the Sooners here. Strong punt, fielded at the 15-yard line by Johnson.
Well, they've been glad to get him back. You know, he missed 3 games with an ankle injury. He just came back against Iowa State.
Well, the last time an unranked Texas beat a ranked Oklahoma, you got to go all the way back to '92. Picotier threw a 31-yard pass to Burleson. That made it 17-10. Phil Brown ran it in. 24-10. Texas went on for the upset, 34-24. And here they are, a 2-touchdown underdog, leading Oklahoma as we've entered the fourth quarter. First down, run with Gray, and let's check in with Robert Flores for an update. Robert. Never say die, dogs. At it again. Second down and 7.
You know, Texas, it's interesting. Defensively, they learned a lot and took a lot from what TCU did to Oklahoma. Offensively, a lot of what they're doing today with 2 tight ends and power running came from the Notre Dame game. When Bob Stoops made the change to this defense to go 3 down linemen and get more speed, that's to play in the Big 12. It's not to play against big physical running games. They did against Notre Dame, but they still got the win. And Texas taking the football right at them with big people.
And Gray behind that offensive line has rushed for 100 yards here today. Didn't get anything
Big
on
stop.
that play.
Big stop on 3rd down that time by the Sooners.
So the Sooners trailing 36-13. Need to strike quickly.
They just have not shown much of a threat down the field with any kind of big plays so far through the first 3 quarters.
You wonder if Bob would try to block a punt in this situation, but he takes Stryker back off the field. And they set the return. They want the ball in this situation. Fair catch signal for at the 24-yard line. So that's where the Sooners will have it when you come back, because you're watching ESPN College Football on ABC. Eastern Sunday NFL Countdown on ESPN. A look at the owner's box at Gillette Stadium in New England, which seems to have become the place to see celebrities. Better the Patriots see some receivers in the end zone than celebrities in the owner's box, eh? And then it's fantasy football now. Here's a tip. Start every Bronco. I can't believe a team is a 4-touchdown favorite in the National Football League. Roy Finch is your running back now. Oklahoma trailing at 36-13. First down, near side, snaps that one off to Roy Finch, was the intended target.
We were talking in the commercial. I mean, Oklahoma 3 scores behind. They just have not shown the ability to create explosive plays in the ballgame. Texas will give them plays like that.
Absolutely. Here's second down, trying to get something. There's a penalty flag on that play. It is caught for a first down at the 40, but there is a penalty.
Before that play, Oklahoma has only had 1 pass completion of 15 yards or more and 3 runs of 10 yards or more.
Hands in face, number 74 offense. 15-yard penalty, second down.
That's Adam Sheed, the left guard.
He's their best lineman. Very powerful run blocker, number 74. He's got his hands up into the face, working on Malcolm Brown. Wasn't a lot, but it was enough to draw the flag.
You know, another thing about this game, been 5 penalties against the Sooners, only 2 against the Longhorns.
They've won every little game within the game.
Second down and 20. Bell has an open man and he overthrew him. Saunders broke open at the end of that, but he couldn't connect.
You talk about explosive plays. If you want to win games in the evenly matched kind of games, you got to create explosive plays. Again, only 3 explosive runs, 1 explosive pass in the whole ball game for Oklahoma to this point.
And not a favorite on 3rd and 20. In 3rd down today, Oklahoma is 2 of 11, and now they face a 3rd and 20. Sacked down at the 9-yard line. Couldn't pick up the blitzer. Quandre Diggs, the nickel man, was coming hard.
Well, it was another zone blitz. 3rd and long. Why not try something? Try to get pressure. You got the pressure coming here. Jeff Coates going to drop into coverage. Zone blitz. Unblocked, unaccounted for man. And they get the sack.
There is no doubt that a veteran football coach by the name of Greg Robinson has made an enormous impact on this Texas defense. Johnson's back deep, and the Horns figure to get excellent field position. Johnson's got it. Steps off quickly to the right. Slipped that first tackler again, and then he's down at the 41-yard line. There are some folks wearing crimson who have headed for the exit. Let me repeat, people in crimson are leaving early.
NC College Football, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, the official hangout for NCAA football. Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. And Progressive, comparing rates to help you save. Now that's progressive.
Well, the Hall of State here commemorates the history of the state of Texas, has an exhibit spotlighting the history of the Big Tex statue. You might recall that last October, Big Tex had a bad night. Went down in flames, and it was sad around here, but now the newer, bigger, improved version is back. That Big Tex cost $500,000, but well worth it. Nice to have you with us again, Big Tex. You look down on the State Fair Texas scene here, Midway, and all those people will pour out and have a great time. Well, maybe not everybody will have a great time, eh? These folks wearing crimson and having a hard time believing their eyes.
Yeah.
This was the biggest that Texas has been an underdog in a football game since 1989. 14-point underdog here today. And Todd, you were telling me when you quickly checked, Texas won that game also.
Yeah, they were a 17.5-point underdog. Oklahoma had won the previous 5 in a row, and Texas pulled the upset 28-24 in that one.
Now, the last quarterback to win was older brother Colt McCoy, 2009. And how about this, huh? A little nod to younger brother, huh? Sorry about that, Colt. Case is outdoing you today, my friend.
And I still go back to the quote on Monday. Everybody kind of overreacted and said, oh, why'd you say that? Don't do that. He knew what he was doing. I mean, he was just excited to play, and he has played within himself today in a great fashion.
Going to go deep down that far sideline. Receiver was covered, and Davis made a crack at it down there. Cortez Johnson with him. And take a look at this, Todd.
Well, it had to be great coverage because it's another nice throw. A lot of double moves by this Texas pass offense, but Johnson in perfect position to make a play on the ball. See how he had his eyes on the football? He knew exactly where the ball was, and when the receiver's hands went up, his hands went up too.
I'm going to tell you, Mike Davis is going to get a long look at Sunday football too. He's a senior from Skyline High School, and he made a great effort on that ball with the one hand. Third down. There's McCoy going to, throw it away to the nose man on a screenplay. Oh my goodness. Is this the second defensive lineman to score? It is. Gino Grissom. How do you do?
They're trying to throw a middle screen. You think it's a safe play to Malcolm Brown, number 28. But it was well played and executed by Grissom. Just when you think Case McCoy can relax a little bit, he makes a bad mistake.
Showing a little bit of speed as he takes that one to the end zone. So Gino Grissom for the Sooners, and in the first half, it was big Chris Whaley. And no doubt Gino makes his first career interception. He makes it pay off, doesn't he?
And the first interception of the season for Case McCoy as well.
Now, Chris Whaley had one earlier. That's his second, okay, when he got that touchdown for the Horns in the first half.
Well,
the battle of the big uns here. 54-yard interception return. And they're checking to see what they might want to do here. They have the Hunnicutt. He makes this, it'll be a 2-score, 16-point game. That close, no need to burn a timeout in that situation. Take your medicine and try to make this a 2-score game.
Well, let's see if that play by the Oklahoma defense shoots some new life into the Sooners, because they're going to have to come right back on the field. And again, for Case McCoy and this Texas offense, where they might have been able to take their foot off the gas a little bit, not so much right now.
Yeah, with 10 minutes to go, it's a 2-score game. 36-20. That was a great interception by the big fella. Looks like an athlete too, doesn't he? Following us, Michigan Penn State will be a little bit later today, 5 p.m. Eastern, and that'll be followed by Texas A&M and Ole Miss. Our buddy Kirk Herbstreit, along with his constant companion Darren Brown, are winging their way to Oxford, Mississippi. So hook up with Brad Nessler. They'll have that game tonight. That should be a good one, fun to watch. Johnny Manziel's always a treat. See what he's going to come up with. Johnson and Bergeron go back deep on this kickoff. Out on the 25, good strong leg, and Todd, let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
I think the first story of the game has been the Texas defense. Throughout the game, they have played outstanding, stopping both the run and tackling well in the short passing game of Oklahoma. 200 yards of offense for the Sooners. Then it was the big punt return by Adajie Johnson. They got the score from the special teams. And then on offense, Case McCoy has thrown the ball very well, managed the offense except for his last play. The interception return for a touchdown has changed the dynamics of this game a little bit.
10 minutes remaining, so we'll see what kind of time the Horns can eat up. They start with Johnathan Gray. He's thrown down after about a 4-yard gain. Let us check in with Robert Flores. Yeah, very good game there, as it is here. 36-20. Oklahoma trying to climb back in it. And it is Gray for the first down.
I'm impressed with him. I think he's going to be an outstanding back at the University of Texas. Gets better every time he plays, every game he plays. Doing a better job of protecting that football in this game. A couple near fumbles there in the game against Iowa State. But over the last 5 ball games now, he has really started to turn it up.
And you can see what he's done against Oklahoma compared with a year ago. He has terrific vision. We had him in the Kansas State game up in Austin. He sees his daylight very, very well. Major Applewhite working on the clock, and then he picks up additional yards.
He makes a guy miss with that vision and does a smart thing of staying in bounds, because right now the clock is your friend. So you just keep feeding this guy the ball as much as he's capable of running it and hope your offensive line continues to win.
Little tempo for the first down. Banging right straight ahead. And again, Todd, we want to go back. Mention that offensive front for Texas. Espinoza is the center. Hopkins and Walters are the guards. Estelle and Hawkins the tackles. And overall, on a muggy day in Dallas, they have really performed well.
They've controlled the game. Texas has controlled the football game with their front on both sides for the majority of the ball game.
Just working away on that clock right now with Gray. Gray well over 100 yards. You know, the offensive line coach is Stacy Searles.
Yep.
And he's a good football man.
Yep.
Good player himself.
Good player. Spent a lot of years coaching in the SEC. Knows about playing power football.
Gray, Todd, incidentally, now has 125 yards, and Malcolm Brown will give him a little bit of a blow.
And if you're Case McCoy right now, you're working clock as much as you can. Don't snap that ball until the play clock gets down inside of 5, the most you can.
So here comes Brown, and he too's got a chance to hit 100. He's well over 80 now.
Allowing 113 yards per game rushing.
Shot of Stacy, the offensive line coach, who's done an excellent job. In fact, this entire coaching staff at Texas, you know, with all the buzz that goes on around the country, they just shut their ears and went to work. The NASCAR Sprint Cup heats up under the lights in Charlotte, one of the great tracks in NASCAR. Don't miss the Bank of America 500 Charlotte tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Matt Kenseth on the left, Jimmy Johnson coming after him. So down on the Texas sideline, very happy person. That's the athletic director who will be retiring next year sometime, DeLoss Dodds. And he, of course, is so happy to see that Mac Brown and the troops have rallied in this game. And, of course, was a former track star up at Kansas State, up in Manhattan. Had a chance to chat with him on the elevator. Coming up today, very nice man. Did a heck of a job down there. Malcolm Brown and Johnathan Gray are in the backfield.
That timeout by Oklahoma did more for Texas because it kept Johnathan Gray a little rest.
And they were ready for that draw play, though, that time. Yep. It's big Geno Grissom who scored on that touchdown, shutting him down. And Oklahoma is going to get the ball back at around the 7:20 mark here, it looks like. Robert Flores for an update. All right, thank you. And here it is, 36-20, coming down with the final 7:22. Oklahoma burned a timeout, Todd, right there.
2 on this drive. So they've left themselves with 1 timeout and a 16-point deficit here with 7:22 left. Fera hasn't kicked the last 2 very well. He needs a good one here.
And he hung it up. Fera kicks it to 15. Well, Todd, you're the one who researched this about Alabama and Texas after their championship game and the injury to Colt McCoy. How 2 great brands in college football have gone in opposite directions.
Well, and part of that has been recruiting as much as anything. Nick Saban has recruited extremely well during that time, and where you see that is in the national championships, obviously, and the first-round NFL draft picks. That first year after the game they played was almost identical in the NFL draft, and from that point on, Alabama kind of had an upward trajectory, and Texas had a downward trajectory in the NFL draft, as well as in the win-loss column.
First down and 10. Bell on that slant. Big gain, Bester, and he has run out of bounds at the 35-yard line. A lot of time left here. That's a 47-yard gain.
And this is the first play that Texas did not tackle well on the short throw. About a 3-yard pass, 3 missed tackles, and a big gain down the field. A chunk play down the field off a very short completion.
By Saunders, still battling at the 30-yard line. It'll be second down. Helmet came off, so he's going to have to leave for a play.
He took a real shot, did a nice job of adjusting his body to make the catch.
Second down. Technical difficulty. Our switcher locked up, but you come right back to that big run around the right side by Brennan Clay. So that was Brennan Clay swinging it. It'll be a 1st and goal. There's a Longhorn defender down. Dalton Santos. That was a 19-yard run here.
Great block by Trey Millard, and also Darrell Williams, the right tackle, leading that play.
So Santos being tended to. And with 6:16 to go, a lot of time in this football game. But the one thing that Oklahoma has to get ready for, and I'm sure Texas will know, it's probably going to the belldozer for that 2-point conversion. I mean, that's the one thing you've got to be thinking of immediately when you score here.
Well, they have a lot of different options in how they run Blake Bell. I mean, they'll do quarterback draw, they do quarterback power, they do quarterback counter, and they also have a little option off of it.
Robert Flores, what's up? So good to see Santos up on his feet here. We come over to the sideline. The ball is resting on the Longhorns' 11-yard line. We have 6:16 to play. Oklahoma is down a couple of touchdowns, and they'll need 2-point conversions and 2 touchdowns to draw even. Jaxon checks in late for the Longhorns. They set the defense. Millard swinging to the left. Not going to get much.
That's good defense. Good pursuit and good leverage. They didn't allow him to get outside and turn the corner on the defense, and they tackled him inbounds. You have to maintain leverage. You keep that outside arm free. Very nice job out there by McKeel Thompson, number 2.
Jeffco was in on there too. Second down and 8. Brennan Clay down toward 5.5. Going to the far corner of the end zone. Out of the end zone, incomplete. Jazz Reynolds.
Double move, he had him. Throw that to the back pylon, just a little bit too far. Had what they wanted. Had the corner who bid on the fake, just threw the ball too far out of the corner of the end zone.
Third down and 8. Incomplete. Fourth down.
And that was a good throw by Blake Bell. The play before, he threw it out of the field of play. That one was a very catchable pass that Jazz Reynolds just didn't handle. If he catches this, he might be able to stick it forward for a first down. Oklahoma can get a first down without scoring here, just inside the 1. Did they get the play off or not? Oh my gosh.
No excuse for that down there.
None. Well, that
you cannot do that
dramatically. I mean, you go from 4th and 7 with a chance to get a first down inside the 1 if you don't score for 4th and 12.
Saunders slotted to the right. In trouble. Texas football, 5:15 to go after the Jeff Coach sack. Number 44, senior from Plano, who has never experienced a win over Oklahoma as a Texas Longhorn, with a sack on 4th down.
Just a 4-man rush. Both ends collapse the pocket. Jeff Coat got the sack, but Cedric Reed coming from the other side. He crunched it also. They beat both tackles and got the sack on 4th down. Boy, what a costly delay of game penalty, though, prior to that play.
You never know what's going to happen in a rivalry game. Texas comes in, 2-touchdown underdog. Head coach on the hot seat. And they respond like this today. Malcolm Brown. So, Todd, let's take a look at today's All-State Good Hands play.
Well, Mike Davis, we said he had to have an impact in the game. 6'2", 195-pound senior. Little double move, beat the freshman corner, Zach Sanchez. And then with the great extension for the catch right before the goal line. Pretty nice throw by Case McCoy. Great hands on the other end by Mike Davis.
You see his career, and it has been a great one in Austin. Second down and 4. Clock winds down inside of 4.5 minutes.
Well, and we've said it today a couple times. Case McCoy's played beautiful. Johnathan Gray has proven to be a big-time back. The receivers have made plays. But this offensive line for Texas and the defensive front 7 of the Texas defense, man, it's been won in the trenches. This game is a physical contest, and it's been won up front by Texas on both sides of the ball.
So Mac Brown can smile for at least a week. And then it'll be, what have you done for me lately, Mac? Get a little break. And then on October 26th, go to TCU, play them at Fort Worth. Austin will be Kansas. Then it is into Morgantown. But, folks, look at the last 3 games, the gauntlet. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and point a minute plus Baylor at Waco, December 7th.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, as rough as the start was for Texas to get into this season and the debacle up in Provo and the firing of the defensive coordinator, their main goal was still to win the Big 12. And so if they can win this game today, that would put them at 3-0 in the league and with a little bit of an inside track toward an automatic BCS berth.
Third down and 2. First down, Texas. The clock will stop. Oklahoma now out of timeouts. They'll reset the chains. And the final 4 minutes coming up. And Burnt Orange Nation is ready to celebrate. First down and 10. Strong 8-yard run. Todd, you saw some things in that Iowa State game too about Texas that night, that Thursday night in Ames.
Well, you know, we've seen the defense of Texas tonight play as well as they played all year, but there was a point in that game last Thursday that really kind of turned the game around defensively. Even though they gave up 463 yards to Iowa State, when the game was on the line, when it really mattered, their defense stepped up and made some plays, and I think they have carried the momentum of that into this ball game today and have played an outstanding football game.
First down at midfield.
I mean, Iowa State had the ball 2nd and 1. They could have gained a first down. They're winning by 3. If they score a touchdown, the game's probably out of reach. 2 plays in a row. The Texas defense rose up, got the stop, forced a field goal, kept it at a 6-point game, and that led to the game-winning drive that Case McCoy took them on. 70 yards in under 3 minutes. Scored on a 1-yard sneak to win the game up in Ames, but it was those 2 defensive plays, I think, that spearheaded that victory, and they've carried it over here today.
First down and 10, final 2.5 minutes. They're in the Cotton Bowl. And let us check in with Robert Flores. Robert. Yes, indeed. So Missouri, with its biggest win of the season, everybody wanted to see how they would perform against Georgia, and now we know. 2nd down and 3. Last year, that Missouri team suffered one injury after another. Here's Johnathan Gray, 100-yard rush today performance. He's had a great game for the Longhorns. Run for 123 yards, 29 carries for the Longhorns.
They've had excellent balance. Of course, they don't need to throw the ball anymore at this point, but the offensive balance they started the game with and maintained through the first 3 quarters has kept this Oklahoma defense on its heels all day.
So the golden hat goes to Austin. And for the first time, this senior class playing today for the Texas Longhorns will experience what it's like to beat Oklahoma. Malcolm Brown for the first down, and Brown 116 yards on the day to go with Gray's 123.
You know, and they're beating them the way you love to beat your rival, by punching them right in the mouth. You know, this wasn't a finesse win. This wasn't a trick 'em kind of win. This was a line up and punch them in the mouth, and you got the last one.
And you have to feel happy for Mack Brown, who has answered every question, talked about all the pressure, and has said one thing repeatedly. You've got to win, and then you got to win again. And that gets you off the hot seat. That's the only thing that will stop the critics. And here today, Mack Brown and the Texas Longhorns are coming away with a big upset win over their arch rival.
They won this game in every conceivable way. Outrushing their opponent. They won the turnovers.
Oh, that was a beautiful drenching. Oh, that was beautiful. And he deserves it.
Absolutely.
The Texas Longhorns upset their rival, the Oklahoma Sooners. When this day began, how many of you expected Mack Brown to be drenched on the sideline with a victory shower? And when you take a look at the Big 12, just what Todd Blackledge told you, 3-0 over there on the right. Forget those two non-conference losses. Mack has always said, let's win it. Let's go down to Heather Cox with a very happy Mack Brown. Heather.
Indeed he is. Coach, congratulations. What does this win do for you in this program?
Oh, it gets us 3-0 in the Big 12. And that's what we wanted, Heather. Proud of the guys moving forward. Now you got to beat TCU.
And this is the first win in this series for your senior class. How important was it to get them a win over the Sooners before they left?
It was very important because they need to get that golden hat. That's an important thing between these two schools. They haven't been able to do that, so proud of them today.
And you told me that the only way to quiet the naysayers is to win. So what kind of statement does this win make?
Not worried about that. We're worried about TCU.
Lastly, Coach, your quarterback, Case McCoy, you asked him when he came in to not be a riverboat gambler, to simply manage the game. How impressed were you with the way he handled today's pressure?
He did a great job. Case handled every situation that came up, even with the interception for a touchdown on the screen, which was unfortunate. He came right back out there and led our team.
You going to go put that golden hat on, Coach?
I don't know that I'll put it on, but I'm going to watch those seniors put it on, Heather.
Coach, thanks. Congrats.
Well, Todd, a great moment for the Longhorns.
Absolutely, and a well-deserved victory. They won in every facet of the game. They were the more physical team. They were the more proficient team on third down in the red zone. Every way you could slice it up, they were the better team today.
Indeed, Todd. 445 yards of offense compared with 263 yards of offense for Oklahoma. On third down, Texas was 13 of 20, and Oklahoma was 2 of 13. McCoy was not sacked today. Bell was sacked 3 times. And so there you have it, 36-20. Texas upsets Oklahoma. And we'll go to John Saunders in the studio right after these messages. So long, everybody.